How much does it cost to create a product? That's a fantastic question, and in this video I'm going to teach you all about how I design ridiculously high profit margins in all the products that I build. There's specifically 2 strategies I want to keep in mind here. Let's dive in. Hey guys, I want to start by comparing costs. Okay, there are certain types of industries that have different costs associated with them. When I was in college, we did this food business, and at the end of the semester, we had to do this massive financial write-up on all of our numbers. And I was like, I'm so sorry, teachers. We only had a 16% profit margin on our food business. And one of the guys that was CMO of some massive chains you've all heard of, he was like, oh my gosh, that's so huge. I was like, 16% sucks. I actually said that out loud in the presentation. And he was like, no, you don't understand. Franchises get like a 6% profit margin, 6%, right? And I was like, holy smokes. So I need to be careful what type of product that I go build, what industry I go build my product in, because there's some natural costs associated with being in that industry. So what I want to do real fast is I'm going to walk through certain types of stereotypical costs. Now I can already hear in the comments people saying, that's not how much it costs me to go do it. Yeah, I know. I'm talking in massive stereotypes, huge blanket statements are here, okay? So I'm going to rank each of these industries in the different types of costs. 1 is a little, 3 is a lot. I'm not going to go specific on numbers. Just know that in generalities, the way these compare to the other industries, that's really what I'm ranking on here, okay? So let's start right out. Now, I wrote down some notes because this is a lot of stuff. First, let's talk about the e-com industry, okay? If you're going to go e-commerce, which means a physical good, okay, what is the cost to create a product in the e-com space? Well, you got to actually pay for materials, right? You got to pay for the material. The actual cost of creating e-com is not, it's not lots, but it's also not a little. I'm going to put it as a 2. Okay, what's the cost to fulfill? Think about when you buy something on Amazon. We all know psychologically what's happening. Someone's got to go to a warehouse, take it off the shelf, put it in a box. That box goes on a truck. They get scanned. They go, right, scan, box, truck, finally gets to your spot. There's a huge cost to fulfill a physical good because they have to go and send it, right? Post-purchase, the relationship is not over. They got to actually send it to you. So I'm going to put it as a 3. All right, there's typically quite a bit of costs involved in the e-commerce space. Now, you can make a ton of money with them, but there's a lot of costs involved, far more than some of these other industries. So let's keep going by comparison. Now, the time to fulfill, I am going to put time to fulfill as a 2 as well, because while you do have to ship it, all you have to do is ship it, right? So usually there's a short relationship post-purchase after the transaction is over. Now, what about price? All right, now this one a little sketchy because sometimes things are really expensive and sometimes they're really cheap, right? I'm going to go ahead and put it here as a 2 though, just kind of right in the middle, right? You could sell something really cheap, you could sell something really expensive, therefore I'm going to put it as a 2. Okay. All right, let's go and comparing. We're going sideways across all of these real fast. I'm going to go quick. All right, I'll go pretty quick through these because I want to explain these. This right here will determine out of the gate much more of your success than you probably realize it will. That's why I'm making this video. Stick with me, all right? Info. What is the cost to create information? Like next to nothing, hardly anything. It just is not a lot, right? Cost to fulfill, I can fulfill an information product with an email giving you access, right? What's the time to fulfill? Also a 1. Price, I can price it really high. Fascinating. How much does it cost to create a product? I'm liking this side right here. There's a reason I sell what I do. Let's keep going. Agency, the cost to actually create the solution for the agency, it's kind of expensive to run. I used to run a big funnel building agency. Holy smokes, that was a massive cost, massive cost. Okay, cost to fulfill, I'm also gonna put it as a 2 here. The time to fulfill that relationship, the time to fulfill the relationship is monstrous. There's the management post-transaction. There's a lot of stuff involved with that. The benefits, though, is that you can actually make a lot of money as an agency as well. You don't typically see people going into becoming massive, Elon Musk's and Steve Jobs figures on an agency model. That's not the model that they're using to go make tons. Keep going here. All right, affiliate. Let's say you're gonna be an affiliate. Steve, what's an affiliate? An affiliate is somebody who sells someone else's product and they get a little commission for it. I love being an affiliate. What's the cost to create? Nothing, because you didn't, they did, right? It's hardly anything. What's the cost to fulfill? Also, usually nothing. There is literally, it's bonuses usually. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I have other videos on that as well if you want to dive into that. Time to fulfill? Also, nothing. Price, that's the other negative though. You don't control price. You're getting a small little commission. Someone else is making $100, you're taking home 10. So you don't get the chance to make, it's not a huge revenue model. So I set this up, this is a very automated thing that I go do. What about SaaS or software? Okay, software as a service. SaaS. The SaaS model, the cost to create software, okay, that can be very pricey to create the software. But once it's actually built, the cost to fulfill a new user can, boom, okay? Really, really, really small usually. Time to fulfill, I'm also gonna put it as a 1. The only reason this might be a 2 is because you have a support team, okay? But I'm gonna leave it as a 1 there. Price, it's not like there's monstrally expensive softwares for our industries that you and I would be in watching this. But I'm gonna put it as a 2. Consulting, love the consulting one. Gosh, consulting's so cool. Cost to create, nothing. But it does take my time, right? And put time to fulfill over here as a 3. All right, cost to fulfill on that, I'm also gonna put as a 1. And then the price is a 3. So what I like to do, and I started doodling around it. You like that really straight line? Tells how good I did in art. I never graduated stick figures. Anyway, what I like to do though is I like to compare each of these types of industries though to start seeing which type of thing I wanna go build. Because the model that I choose to go follow determines more of my choices than I might be aware of. So if you're like, what's the cost to create a product? Understand that there's a lot you're stepping into where 80% of it's already decided for you. So this is what I go do. I am going to, number 1, you see I love info. Info is amazing because the cost, the time, all that stuff is very automated. Once it's created, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Sweet cherry pie, I love it. Okay, agency, I stay away. I used to run a big agency for a year. We built tons of clients' funnels. They had lots of success, it was great, but it was that I didn't like. E-com, same. Affiliate, I definitely do affiliate. It's not to make money, it's more to make noise, but it does a great job there. SaaS and consulting are the other models as well. So I am 1000% biased. I am totally biased. I have dabbled in all of these, but I stopped doing specific ones due to the cost of running the business. There was a year where, I don't want to get freaked out on me or whatever, but this model had $1 million day. $1 million day. How much did I keep of that 1.6 million? Like 300 grand. All right, it was hard because of that. But wait a second, I've kept 500,000 of the 500,000 I automatically created. Does that make sense? I kept way more with way less revenue. That's the benefit of this stuff and what I'm trying to teach you. What's the cost to create a product? There's more than just money cost. You have to look at this, okay? Look at the cost to create it for sure, but then the cost to fulfill. After they buy, is the relationship even over? Right? After they buy, how much time? Not just money anymore, time. Maybe the cost is really low, but you have tons of time to go fulfill. Consulting's very much that way. So I want to give you guys one final piece with this. Looking at each one of these things and looking at, I'm going to go sell information products. I'm going to go sell affiliate. I'm going to go sell whatever that is. You have to understand that the power of the internet is massive, again, because of information. What happens if I combine info with e-com? While e-com may not make me a lot of money, because I combine the two, all my profits come from info. That's what I do with a lot of e-com clients. Does that make sense? What happens when I take info and I bundle it with SaaS? I was the lead funnel builder at ClickFunnels for 2 years. I can tell you that's why ClickFunnels exploded the way it did. In 5-6 years, it's worth almost $1 billion. They're running circles around all the other software companies. Why? Because they combine these two models. When I take info and I combine it with agency, I'm actually down with that. When I take info and I combine it with consulting, I'm totally cool with that. When I take information, because it's so lucrative, is where all the profits come. A lot of times in these other models, which means you can now afford to break even in all these, and your costs can be really high, but because you have information built and baked into it, this is where the profit center comes in your entire business. If you're liking this, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Hit that little bell so you guys can get notified of new videos. We're spending a lot of time to put this kind of information together for you. These are huge hacks of the internet. Okay, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, hit the little bell, and then down in the comments, tell me which of these you're thinking about jumping into. I want to know. Which of these? And I'm clearly biased, but it's for a reason. It's because I've been spending years in this game. I've worked with some huge people. We've made a lot of money doing this, but we've also left certain industries for a reason. Tell me in the comments below which of these industries you are down to go start selling into. All right, so what I want to teach you real fast, this final little piece here, we create this thing called a value ladder. Now, a value ladder is a great way to say, you know what, Steve? I think I want this one and that one and that one and that one and that one. That's fine. But what we'll do is we'll say, you know what? While info is going to be in every single one of these, let's put information in that one, let's put info in that one, let's put info in that one. So it's part of the offer every time. I'm gonna make e-com, you know what? I'm gonna put my shirts, which is what we do. I'm gonna put my shirts right here, and they get some info when they buy a shirt. That makes sense? I'm gonna put that at the bottom. That's the freer, cheaper kind of stuff down here at the bottom. Like, what should I toss right here? What if I took some software and added info to it, and that's kind of that price point? A little more expensive, right? A little more expensive, but because it's combined with info, all my profits come from there. What if I take, info, which is always a part of everything. Now let's add in consulting, right? Now I have higher ticket stuff right there. Ladies and gents, this is exactly what I do. That's my business. I take info and I toss it in every single place of every single product that I have out there. Every SKU includes info because there's a lot of profits that come from it. But I also say, you know what? I love some of the virtues of e-com. Let's put that in more of the cheap free stuff. I love some of the virtues of doing software. Let's put that in more of the middle price point range. And consulting is obviously much more expensive, but I'm going to put that towards the top and include info. Hey, got a free gift for you. If you're liking this information, you're like, gosh, I'm in business, but I haven't been designing profits into what I do. Totally get it. Very painful as well. Go to launchforprofit.com. The link is in the description. There's a free PDF you can download there that will teach you how, after you know this, how do you actually launch for profit? That's why I called it that. Launchforprofit.com includes some of my favorite paid and free strategies to get attention to what you sell. You can go to launchforprofit.com and download it now.